I really love the symbolism in this movie regarding change and how the storm really represents life in general. Change is inevitable no matter what. Every second you breathe, something has changed. And the way you live your life and the way that your life turns out all depends on whether you are the one that decides to make the change or whether life decides to make the change for you. And that's kind of what the storm represents is when those who decide to change for the better, they're able to be lifted into the storm and into this other dimension or realm, whatever it may be, into enlightenment, whatever you call it. And those that allow life to force them to change are clobbered and destroyed and killed because their psyche hasn't quite reached the required point yet.
He let me in on a few of the secrets and a few of the things that were meant to be interpreted by others, a few of the things that were a little bit like more below the surface, and he kind of clued me in, and I wouldn't want to tell anyone else. I think once they see the movie, they would either be able to figure it out for themselves, if not after the first watch, surely by the second watch. But I wouldn't want anybody to know ahead of time, you know, all the symbols and all the hidden meanings and everything that, you know, goes beyond what is said.
It has been explained to me that the meaning in Dicknado is that it is a more rewarding experience, an enriching of one's life to actively pursue and cause the change that you want in your life and not let life do it for you. I was not expecting that kind of deep philosophy to be part of this film. But given that it is, I would say that I agree with this outlook. I think that it is philosophically lazy to sit back and expect the world to provide you with what it is that you want or need instead of taking an active role.
Well, my reaction to the script when I first received, I was pretty impressed because the writing was very good.
Well, Bill had a bunch of us meet at Starbucks in the city in Manhattan, and we just talked and had a conversation about the script and about our ideas, what we took from it, and it was really funny because I've never been to an audition before where I didn't actually have to audition.
The audition process was very easy. In fact, he interviewed me for the role. I didn't actually have to read any lines or dialogue. And he interviewed me, asked me questions about my daily life to see if I would relate to the character, which I did.
I came all the way from Nashville, Tennessee to be in this movie. I am a really dedicated fan. And I had so much fun in Dick Shark, which was my first movie ever. And I was offered a role in Dicknado. And so I had to take the chance. I had to come up here and be a part of this masterpiece because it means a lot to me. The role meant a lot to me. And it seemed like it would be a lot of fun.
I saw that Bill was casting and I got really excited. I was like, whoa. I didn't really care what the movie was. I knew it was going to be awesome.
I felt pretty comfortable meeting Bill the first time. He actually had me meet him in a bar. It was kind of a random spot. But, the second I met him, I felt like we clicked and I could talk to him about anything, really.
I've become part of this film because Bill asked me, basically. He asked me to play his flesh flute, and I said yes.
How did I meet Bill? I met Bill somewhere in New Jersey. I think it was Clifton. I don't remember. It was like a bar thing. It's unusual. I was just, I I said, let me see what's going on. I'm usually not afraid to go to try different things and it was a public place. If he said, oh, come to my apartment, then it would be different. But it was like a bar. And the bartender had a dog, which is kind of different, weird. But it was pretty cool. He was he's a very interesting person. He has he knows a lot about a lot of things, if you know what I mean.
Bill actually discouraged anyone from doing this movie if it was something we were doing just to put on our resume to get other jobs. He only wanted people that were actually passionate about the story and the creative project. And I think that's really cool because it is a dialogue movie, and that's not something that is popular. It's something I actually like and admire, just because it's what my personality is drawn to. But I thought that was cool, and then it led to him asking me what I would change or what my ideas are on the script, and it was really cool.
So we talked. He doesn't do like casting, like reading sites kind of thing. He likes to talk, and I like to talk too because it's important to know who you're gonna work with. So it was cool. I like it. I like that way of selecting because I get to select too.
So when I first met Bill, he considered me for the role of Melissa, and we were talking and he got to know me, and he actually said, I see you as a totally different role in this film, actually as the lead of Heather. And I said, okay, sure. Well, I don't know what the sides are. I haven't read the script. He's like, don't worry about it. You're the character. I think you would be perfect for it.
I wasn't ever concerned about the non-traditional filming. I've been in a lot of situations, I guess mostly music videos, where the filming hasn't been traditional. But that kind of intrigued me too because I like doing things a non-traditional way. I like, they always say that you have to learn the rules before you break them. But then the ones that get places are the ones that do break them.
There would be some nudity involved, and I was a little nervous about it. But when we actually shot it, it was comical, really. I thought it would be kind of like a little scared, nerve-wracking, but it was really fun, and I got to be myself.
It's very rapey. I've done rapey scenes before, a lot of them, but usually it's been with people that I've worked with more than once, that I've at least worked with one time prior. And I was a little hesitant. I asked a couple of questions, but I've heard really good things about Bill, so I said, fuck it. Let's do it. Let's make the movie.
I was first asked by Bill online if I wanted to be in his Dicknado film, and explained to me that I would be a prostitute who would be asked by a clearly insane person to play his penis, which had holes drilled into it so that it could be played like a flute. Which, of course, as any aspiring actress, I jumped at the chance and said yes.
So we shot this sexy scene. It's kind of sexy, but with a funny twist to it. So it's always tricky to shoot in lingerie and, to do dance moves half clothed. But Bill he's, he was nice. I wasn't that I didn't feel that uncomfortable. I had an idea reading the pages what it would be, but then he was very clear and very respectful and very open to suggestions. So it wasn't like a creepy thing at all. And it was cool. We shot very quick, and there was no sexual tension. because he just like played this funny guy. So yeah, it was cool.
And you made Bao?
When the filming style was described to me, I mean, it obviously brought more of an awareness to me that didn't know Bill before this, and being alone with him filming, I was aware of it, but I got a really good vibe from him, and I mean, I carry Mace with me everywhere I go just in case something happens, because I've been in some interesting situations. So I figured out, if anything, Bill's great. You know, he would never do anything, but if anything were to have happened, yeah.
Was I worried about shooting in a hotel room instead of shooting in a studio? A little bit, I have to say. I was a little nervous because I had only met Bill Zebub at a bar that he had me at Dingo's Den in Clifton. He had me interview there. So I didn't know what to expect. I knew that the scene took place in a hotel room. So the whole time, the characters of Bill and Heather are together. They're in one room together. So it made sense that we were here. I was a little nervous, especially doing the striptease and getting naked and being topless the entire movie.
When I read the exploitive scenes in the script, there were no red flags at all, especially since there was little notes in the script like, hand comes as close as actress is comfortable, things like that. It definitely put me at ease right away. But of course I had some questions. And when I was first reading it, I was like, oh my, thinking gratuitous rape scenes filmed for an hour. It happens. And then actually filming it wasn't gratuitous. It was like Bill filmed just the amount that he was going to put into the movie rather than filming an extra 50 minutes that was never going to get seen.
When I first saw the sex scene, I didn't know what to think, actually. I didn't know if it was porn, if I was going to be naked the entire movie. I really honestly didn't know. And when we shot it, I really got to see the difference in the characters of Bill and Heather, and how Bill is a total goofball and is impotent. And Heather is, she's worldly and, loves adventure and wants to do things and not just work in the same field as Bill and spend all their time together and feel like they're constantly on top of each other. She needs to live her life. And the sex scene was so fun and freeing. And, Bill playing with the remote and doing stupid things actually made me realize how different their characters really are. But Heather, has that funny side to her too, because Bill brings that out in her.
How the rapey scenes actually went was I sort of just go into character mode normally and just just to get through exactly what a film needs. But to make me even more comfortable, of course, something ridiculous would be said. Like, instead of saying cut when he had enough, he would say something to make me laugh. And it just made the little bits of stress just melt the rest of the way off. Even though it could have been extremely uncomfortable. Some are. Especially directors putting their first rape into a movie. But no, I was totally at ease. There was at no point was I uncomfortable.
In the script, the scenes weren't as detailed or as specific in direction, marking, or Bill's lines so much. So, like specifically the scenes where I was in lingerie, they were a little alarming to me at first because it was spelled out in more of a sensual, like love-making type of scene, which I was not prepared for. And I was a little worried at first, but then when we actually did it, it was so awkward and like it was really funny. So it was no big deal at all.
I know people think that Bill Zebub hooks up with a lot of his fans think that he hooks up with a lot of his actors. With me, that's not true at all. He was so cool and chill to work with, and I can't picture anyone hooking up with him. He's just not anyone's type. He's asexual, actually, and his penis is elusive,
The rape scenes in my head were very gritty and gratuitous. Not like over the top gratuitous, but I'm just so used to filming more than what anybody needs. But in actuality, I laughed at the end of every take.
The potential erotic nature of the role was explained to me as being pretty much null. I was a prostitute, but didn't actually end up in any sort of sexual position, unless you count playing a plastic penis, an erotic moment. And it was pretty entertaining, actually. I got to tart myself up and get all slutty, which I don't really do much. I get to have some nice hair like that. It's put on loads of makeup. It's a fun process. Wax, because we all know that it's high definition is unforgiving. So that's nice. I got to groom myself. It's a fun time.
Whenever Bill Zebub does a scene and, he does it and he's happy with it, sometimes he'll do a second take or whatever, just to, he'll take suggestions from other people, or he'll make a suggestion himself about, something different that we could try, a different approach. And there was one scene, it wasn't originally scripted and he didn't tell me ahead of time, so I really didn't know where it was going, where he gets on the bed and he's supposed to just sit on top of the covers. We're looking at each other. That's fine. But this time, he lifts the covers and he gets under the blanket and he scoots a little closer and then he lifts the blanket on my end. And so I'm like, okay, this is fine too, I guess. And I wasn't really sure initially where he was going with it. I thought maybe he was going to turn it into a more romantic scene than it was, but really it only just made his exit to go make cocky, as he says, that much more ungraceful. I think it made it more difficult for him to exit the bed in the fashion that he needed to. So really that wasn't the best planning on his part, but but all the same, I mean, it was worth a shot.
It shows that Bill is at peace with his ego, or doesn't have an inflated ego for the fact that he wrote his Bill character to be so neurotic and lame, and he was comfortable playing that. He didn't feel like he had the need to display himself as the macho hero. So yeah, it brought a little bit of respect to him.
I knew Bill was going to play the rapist. But Bill doesn't really look like a rapist. And then he put on the fat suit. And it added a whole level. There is a moment during one of the rapey scenes where I'm bent over and he takes the fat suit, puts it on my butt, and it is, I think that the toughest part of my job on this film was not cracking up at some of the moments.
My character was insulted because she was like dancing all sexy all over him, trying to kiss him and do stuff, and end of life sex. And he wouldn't react.
Beelzebub's directing style is really laid back, but also to the point. Like, he already has everything mapped out, so he knows exactly what shots for what lines, and it goes a lot quicker than some of the sets that I've been on, where the famous quote comes like, "Hurry up and wait," and I didn't have that to do. It was a lot more efficient.
Beelzebub's directing style is kind of awesome. He is not like any director I've ever worked with. He's kind of like a Woody Allen. He's so crazy and bizarre and fun. And we never do the scene exactly the same way. It's always different. And even the exchange of dialogue, we go out of order, not in sequence. We do bits and pieces here and there. And somehow it works. And he'll get reactions out of me that I normally wouldn't say or feel.
Bill's directing style. You get shit done. There's just so much that needs to be done. And you're looking at the clock. It's like, I arrived 3 hours ago, and we're over a third the way through 40 pages. I love a sense of accomplishment from completing something, especially something big. And I really get that from Bill's directing, knowing that I did an entire 40 pages of script in one day. I wish I could do that every day. I would.
Earlier, as we were setting up, talking about film and shots and shit like that, I mentioned my distaste for the shaky cam. And I'm glad to find out that that's part of this film, because Jesus fucking Christ, it's not filmmaking, it's laziness. How about actually take your time to choreograph something, like especially fight scenes? I can't tell what's going on. I can't tell who's winning. What the fuck is happening? It's just a shaky cam. It's just so lazy. It's just lazy filmmaking instead of actually putting forth the effort that you should be putting forth to create something, It's fucking bullshit. Bravo. Bravo to Bill for taking a stand where it should be taken.
Well, Bill's directing style. Let's think for a minute. He's pretty cool. He's very laid back. He has this memorization technique that I never used before, which is it's like the secret. So you gotta work with him in order to learn. And it works. He's very flexible. He explains every single thing before we shoot. And he does everything. Oh my God. He does everything. Can you believe it? It's just crazy, right? Because I'm just doing my lines. He's doing his line. He's setting cameras. He's setting lights. He's ordering food. He's getting hungry. He's everything. And I'm just doing one job and I'm exhausted. But he has this very unique approach. He's very hands-on. He gives you flexibility. He asks you questions. He's open to suggestions.
In directing, Bill likes to make a lot of jokes, which is really funny. But sometimes he makes one right before, he says action, and he makes it for the purpose of getting me into the way I need to deliver a line. But sometimes it was too much, and I couldn't do it. And I was just like, what?
I know how to sing better than you do. Action.
You mean that? Okay.
I did
Do it
that
again.
for you to sound
I know,
like
but
that.
then yeah.
Well, there was a scene, and as soon as he said action, this wasn't in the script at all, but as soon as he said action, he chucks a pillow, which I thought it was going to hit me directly in the face, and luckily it didn't, or else he would be dead because he threw it extremely hard and fast, and it still scared me beyond all belief, and I just wasn't ready for it. He threw a pillow at my head, and I still am not sure as to why he did it. Do we really ever know why he does any of the things that he does? No. But the scene that followed turned out really, really well, so I guess it was okay that he threw a pillow in the direction of my face. But at the same time, a little warning would have been nice, but that didn't happen. It was just action and bam!
Action. I was trying to add a little bit of a surprise to a scene. I don't know if it will make it into the movie. Probably not, because that was the one we just did, right?
Yes. That's what set it off. You startled me.
The scene calls for me just climbing onto the bed, and I was trying to do it in special ways each time we did it to keep her perky. She has perky breasts. No, just slap my hand. All right. I don't know why I thought it would be a good idea to throw this pillow at her. And it's light, and I was thinking, oh, if I throw it, it'll be like... So I threw it as hard as I could, and as soon as I did that, please duck, please. I was thinking, please duck, please, please, please duck.
You must have been just as frightened as I.
What we filmed today there was some action, but there was also a lot of dialogue, comparatively. And I think that people are, in modern film, television, media in general, I think that people have painfully short attention spans and have difficulty absorbing anything. And I would hope that in this film, since there's lots of dialogue, that people can actually sit the fuck down and absorb some shit and enjoy it, because it's becoming a lost art, I think. And people are less and less willing to sit down and enjoy something, and maybe even think in ways that they weren't expecting to be exposed to, or consider, especially in a movie about a dick tornado.
Is Bill Zebub accident prone? Yes, Bill Zebub is accident prone. He ran into everything many, many times and hit his head over and over again.
Oh,
dude.
He constantly knocks into light fixtures. The boom mic at least 10 times fell on him or on me. The cameras were falling, the lights. We had to...
It was really fun watching Bill trip over props and trip over tripods and cords and cables. That's always entertaining.
Bill told me that no matter what happened, I had to stay in character because for each take we did it differently, and he would throw off the cuff things that he'd think of so that he would keep it each take fresh for me, and I just, which I really enjoy doing that. I love role or improvising, and it was really fun.
remember that I'm the better singer in this room.
Prove it. I'll out-sing you.
No, I meant that to get you in the right attitude.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm a great director.
Okay.
Some of my favorite moments were when Bill would fall. No, I'm just kidding. The improv, actually, when he would make me laugh, I just kind of almost break character, but not, because they're in that relationship. They're like practically married and living together for so many years, but they're not, and they drive each other crazy. She can't stand him and needs to get out of the relationship, and he's just like impotent and can't, do anything. He's an idiot, actually, but...
There's one particular scene in which, Bill Zebub, he's supposed to act like he's going to fart. Now, me knowing his, methods and how he, can take a different approach sometimes, I didn't know if he was actually going to fart. I wasn't sure. He covered my face with a pillow, so I thought, okay, maybe he really did. I don't know. I'm a little frightened. But, if he did, it wasn't too bad because I didn't really notice. But then again, I wasn't going to hold it against, it's very possible that he did. But I feel like I would have known if he did. Only because, apparently you definitely know when he does. There was a situation where he farted on an actress in the past, poor Miss Angelina Leigh, and I remember she made the comment of how horrible and how, what did she say? Disgraceful it was of him. So I feel like I would have known if he actually did, whether or not by the loudness of it, because you could definitely tell, you could hear it in this video. Also by the, repulsed look on her face, I feel like I would have known if he actually did. So I think he was courteous enough to just pretend fart for me.
When Bill told me that I wouldn't need to pre-memorize everything, and I was looking at the amount of pages, and that it would be easy. I don't think that I've ever had so much dialogue in a single movie, let alone that much dialogue in one day. I don't want to say that I had real doubts because Bill makes movies all the time. So I know this was his process, but the idea before today of filming 40 pages of dialogue in a single day, it sounds absurd.
Well, so Bill told me that I could do whatever I wanted with the script. Basically just come over and do in Portuguese. And I said, really? He said, yes. I'm just kidding. He didn't say that. But he was very flexible, which is nice. He wanted the words to sound like they came from me, from my own self. And he's very flexible with the dialogue, and he works with you to get the best of... he's not married to the words. He's only dating them. So he was very flexible. He wants to come from you. He wants to be natural. He wants to be organic, which is cool. It's nice because, as you can see, I have no accent, so.
It was really cool. Bill asked me about my ideas on the script, and I got to suggest a couple edits and rephrasings so that the lines would roll more easily off of my tongue and be phrased in a way that I would speak every day.
Bill didn't want to Americanize me because, I don't know, maybe he thinks I don't look American enough. So he said, change the words. One of the words was penis. And penis is penis in Portuguese. So I kept saying penis. He said, no, change to Portuguese. And penis. Portuguese, Vania. Penis. So maybe now you understand that what I meant was penis is penis in Portuguese. So I had to change it for dick.
I had so much fun, and there was so much laughter shared practicing these scenes and actually shooting these scenes with the green screen as well as the bed scenes. We just had so much fun. The lines themselves were funny, but once he started to improvise and then we just started to roll with whatever came out of his mouth, and it came out a lot better than I expected it to be. That was one of my favorite parts. And I was quite shocked at how good it turned out because it seemed just so goofy and so stupid, and I think it turned out actually really, really well. That was one of my favorite things. We just had a lot of fun and we made a lot of art in the meantime.
My favorite thing about filming today was that I got to work with Bill and get to know him. That was nice.
It's not every day that you get to make a movie called Dicknado.
When I was a young girl, I wanted nothing more than to have a career as an actress. And I had asked myself long ago, but will I really have a fulfilling life as an actress? And will I get to play a prostitute in a post-apocalyptic tornado wasteland? And I am happy to say that the answer is yes. My childhood dream has been realized. Thank you.
What are my favorite things about today? I really liked how relaxed it was, and this was the first time I had ever been deliberately asked not to memorize the script before coming in. And it was hard to not let myself do that because I'm so OCD and I want to make sure I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. So I did memorize a little bit, but I tried not to. And it was easy because of the way he had it set up and done it. I didn't need, it sounds crazy, and but I didn't need to have it memorized. It was cool.
What are the differences between me and the character in the movie? My character in the movie sacrifices herself to save Bill. I don't see me doing that.
There was so many moments where she could have escaped. But this is Gloria, not me.
How is Delia different from me? Let me see. I don't think I would try that hard for a man who wasn't into me. I think that's what comes into my mind. I think I wouldn't give up life. I would fight until the last minute. What else? She has a dry sense of humor, which I like a lot. And she's a good listener. She has strong opinions, which I can relate it to. She has a lot of cool things about her. The only thing that is different from me is the fact that she came to a point that she doesn't believe that there is a future, that the future is worth. And I'm a firm believer in the future and in hope and in a better tomorrow.
Melissa met Bill knowing that he's a poet, and she met him with the intention of falling in love with him because she had these preconceived notions of who he was. And she was very persistent once she figured out that he's not at all who she preconceived him to be. She still wants to get to know him and continue this love affair that she felt that they should have. And that's very different from what I would have done. Like if this was Brielle in the movie, I would have probably stopped trying to get to know him when in that way when he first joked about his impotence. Because not the fact that he actually was impotent, but because if you love somebody, you love them no matter what happens. But the fact it was the humor, I would have been not my kind of humor.
I hope to be working with Bill Zebub again on future projects. I really loved the opportunity and the role in this film, and I look forward to working on many other films. I'm an actress, I'm a model, a singer, so I'm always involved in different productions. So it's been great. You can follow me on my website, ericaleeboseski.com, for any upcoming projects that I'll be in.
There will be 100 special edition, limited Kayla Browne covers for this movie that can only be bought through me. And you could either find me, I go to a lot of horror conventions, I'll have them with me at those, or you can contact me through Facebook, and I would be happy to let you in on some of this movie magic. And I would love for you to buy a copy from me, and I would sign it for you and all that good stuff. But 100 special Kayla covers. Only 100 will exist in the entire world. So, yeah.
You can find more Mel at facebook.com/Mel Heflin. I'm on Twitter as @Mel Heflin, Instagram @Mel Heflin, Snapchat Mel Heflin. Everywhere you want to look me up, just Google Mel Heflin. MELHEFLIN.
Primarily, I am a musician, and I've had a couple songs on the Billboard charts, but that's like my day-to-day thing, and I love acting, and I've acted my whole entire life, and I'm really grateful that Bill gave me the opportunity to be in this film as well. But like I'm originally from Buffalo, New York, and I started singing when I was like 2, but professionally singing and recording under AGP Records when I was 15, just turning 16, and moved to New York City. I recently released my first album ever back in June, which is on iTunes, and you can check out all of my stuff on brielleonline.com. And follow me on social media. Instagram and Twitter is @Brielle_music, and Facebook is facebook.com/BrielleMusic, one word. And reach out to me. Let me know that you've seen this. I would love to talk to you guys, and I respond on everything, and all my social media is actually me doing it. So